Welcome everybody. We have the brand new Samsung accessory here on the table called the Gear Fit 2. I love my first Gear Fit, didn't have it for too long since they quickly came out with the Gear S2, which was even better, but actually this design is maybe nicer for people that just want to wear not only a fitness band but still like to wear a watch like I do, and I'm wearing right now, for example, something quite cheap by Huawei, the Huawei band, which is also called the Honor Z1 band, but actually this would be awesome, but obviously with 200 bucks, not the cheapest design or device that you would have on your wrist. But actually this not only measures your heart rate, but now it has also GPS built in, which is quite nice because you don't have to take your phone with you if you are going to out for a run, for example, and especially if you want to listen to music, you don't need your phone anymore to take with you, since actually the device has 4 gigs of internal memory built in, which means up to 500 songs that you can transfer from your phone easily to this Gear Fit 2. Also, as you can see, a lot of sensors are inside, and also it's a little bit water and dust resistant, which is also always nice. And we have a curved AMOLED screen and so on and so on. So we have here again a beautiful Gear Fit 2, which is now compatible with any Android device 4.4 starting version 4.4 with up to 1.5 gigs of RAM. There's 2 different sizes available, large in this case. There's also a small band, which is a little bit shorter, for example, but you can later on buy, for example, also a bigger band if this one doesn't fit you. And there's 3 colors here, in Germany at least. And we have here the gray one, then there's also blue and pink. Yes, you heard me right, there is pink for all the girls that love to run in pink sweatpants or whatever style they choose for their workout session. So here the device itself, right away inside the box, there won't be too much. Let me put this here to the side and we will check out in a second more on the watch. First, what we will have also in the box is actually not too much to show you, so this is just a really short unboxing and more hands-on and reviewing, since I've been using it for 2 or 3 days in the shower and so on. So we have here a quick start guide for the SM360, which I will not show you right now because actually I'm showing you most of the features in the video. And then obviously we need something to charge the device with, since still Samsung is not using the standard micro USB possibility that, for example, Sony is using with their smart watches. But you can see here a charging station which at least supports both sides of the watch, which means that you can put it in this way and it's magnetic, or the other way around depending on if you're left or right-handed person, and you obviously choose which way you will store this device on your table. For example, while you are all day at the desk, you can charge it, but actually charging is not that often needed, maybe every 3rd day. And the cable is also fixed here on the back, and there's no USB charger inside the box, just a cradle, which you can see here on the bottom. It's called a charging dock by Samsung, and it's not even telling you how much power this one gives out, but it's not that important since it does not take too long to charge the brand new Samsung Gear Fit 2. Let me put the box a little bit to the side here. And let's obviously take off this display protection thingy that I just put back on for the video. And then, as you're able to see already, I have quite right now an ugly design, you could say, but at least it has the UHD tech colors. But before we continue with the software, let's check out the hardware a little bit, where we have a home button and a back button here, and then a nice rubber band, which is really hard. Oops, now the device flew on the other side of the table. It's really hard to crack, usually, that's what I wanted to say. So here we go. If somebody wants to steal it, obviously it will happen, but actually it's, I think, a better mechanism than a Jawbone had, for example, for a long time with the up bands, which I lost all of my test devices. So we have the 2 buttons on the back, the charging connector here, and then the heart rate sensor, which will sense your heart rate every few hours to just check if you're not in stress. And also if you press this little button here in and pull, in this case I have to push, you can actually take off should be able to take off here we go, the band, and you can switch from Gear Fit 2L to Gear Fit 2S, for example, or just a different color, since the base in the middle is usually black. Here we go. or anthracite or whatever color you want to call it. And yeah, let's just continue here with the software. So the first time you will use the device, this way around in my case, you will have to download the GearFit or just the Gear application and the S-Health application in my case. So what I did, for example, here now is just go into Samsung Gear. And in this case, I have the GearFit now already installed, and this is what you would see the first time after you went through all the Bluetooth setuping, where you could, for example, now change your watch face live. So I can do, for example, this one, which you probably know from advertisement. Then this one is also quite nice. It's not that much about what time it is. It's more about what your accomplishments were during the day. I like this one because it's more about what time it is, and that I didn't do too many steps today. And this one is just quite crazy and goes probably nice with the pink band. What we can also do is obviously stylize your design. Not all of them. For example, this one has already too much information, but for example, the summary, you can go here to stylize and, for example, choose the colors that you want. Obviously not pink right now. Now, for example, you can see I got a notification, and that's exactly what, for example, here these devices are good for. That I can just open up, for example, the app right away and check out what somebody sent me on Snapchat. But let's go back here to the app. So that was watch faces. Then notifications, quite important. Let me put the watch away for a second, since we can actually here set up which apps can notify us about anything that we want to do. And there's really a long list of apps, since I have a really long app list on here. For example, WordPress, Uber, or whatever can also notify us. We can limit, turn on the screen. We can also say that the screen stays off even though somebody notified us, which would be quite handy, even though there's no actual flashing LED light to notify us. On the GearFit 2, it will still vibrate, which is quite handy. Not that loud, but yeah, it's handy when you're in the movies or something, so the screen doesn't go off every 2 minutes if you are maybe a popular person or just chatting with somebody. Then you can say which app layout you want, and about that more in a second. You can uninstall the apps also, which is quite handy, because obviously you have an app store by Samsung here, so you can send actually or install apps. And then here under select tracks, you can select up to, as I said before, 500 tracks to put on the GearFit itself, and then you don't need the smartphone to take with you when you go for a run or do anything else that you want to do with the GearFit 2. So then we have the settings, where we have even more settings, obviously. Oops, I'm sorry. Here in this case, where you can set up my quick messages. For example, if somebody writes me, I can just quickly reply with emojis or quick messages. Also for when somebody calls, because there's no speaker or microphone obviously built in here. This was not meant to be a James Bond device, as far as I would call these devices. Then you have social network sharing, that you can achieve or share the achievements that you did, for example, while you were doing a sports workout. And then if you go back, right now for some reason a network error, you can also enter your S-Health app, where you can see here that right now my health app is not that interesting, but we can start different things. We can also, for example, use the Nike Plus compatibility with the sensors and the shoes and everything, and also add here more items if you want to add more things that you want to track. You can also add goals, start programs, and work together with other people to give yourself a challenge, a better challenge. If your girlfriend has one, or your parents have one, or something like that, and they outperform you, that would be, for some people, maybe something that would help to reach more than 1,500 calories. And actually what's interesting is, if you go here a little bit further inside the details, once you touch it, it says when your wrist was not worn, and otherwise when you were moving around. And then if you go to the info part, it will also tell you what means, especially in detail, and that you should at least burn 2,000 calories per day. That's something that every person should do. So go press the back button, and then let's go back, continue here with exercise, where again we have here the preset exercise, things like just 30 minutes for 1 kilometer, and we can view the log. for example, but we can go also to just check the steps, how many floors we went, the heart rate. I can show you that it works quite good. It also works if I just, for example, put my finger on here, since it just senses, here, hit the measure button, it just senses obviously the blood flow, and which is quite strong also in just my finger, which for example doctors would use, and it doesn't take too long. Where I have 90 right now, which is actually a little bit more than regular. You can see it here on the bottom, but it's okay since I'm talking right now and it just needs more attention. So I also drank 2 glasses of water actually today, so I can just hit the 2 and a plus button here, and then we can add more things like the caffeine and the community thingy, and you can, as I said or shown before, just change the order of these. And if you go to the other side, what is more important for most people is that we have your whole list of what happened right now. For example, that somebody liked a picture of mine on Instagram, I can say show on my phone, and then my phone will open up and you can see, I can check out what happened exactly. I can also just hit here the home button. If I hit here the back button, nothing will happen, but we can still just browse here through more things, like for example, and you can see I'm connected via Bluetooth right now, I have 90% battery life, and I can start the music player app now, for example, where I can set up here on the top, we can play music from the phone or from the Gear. On the Gear we have here by Samsung a song, where I can just, for example, say I want to work out right now, and you can set it up also from your phone right away, or you can browse here also through the tracks that are on the device itself right now, which are just 3 Samsung songs, to be able to try out this feature obviously. And you can use this app quite nicely, but obviously you need Bluetooth headphones. If I hit the play button, it says please connect a Bluetooth headset to this device itself, not to the phone, because obviously Samsung, as I said, allows you to just use the Gear Fit 2 as a standalone sporting device, and there's no speaker actually built in here, but otherwise you would be able to use here, for example, the little speaker on the top. So how do I get into settings? That was a little bit of a riddle to me also. So what I did was actually, I'm not sure. I pressed something, I think for a long time, and when you press the home button, what you will get is actually the power and the power saving settings, and not the real settings that you might wanted. And if you press, I think, the back button for a long time, also nothing happens, but somehow I managed to get into actually the settings area before, and I'm not sure how I did that in my German video. So you have to double press the home button and then you get into the settings menu. So this is how much I've been using actually this Gear Fit 2. And you can see that there's quite a few things that you can choose from. For example, what should be my daily goal on drinking water, and I can just set it up to maybe 5, or right now there's nothing set, but 8 glasses every day should be something that everybody should drink, not caffeine but water. Let's go back. Let's go here up on the top into the settings area, and then you can see I can set the vibration, for example, on if it should be vibration or long buzz, and so on and so on, and even lock the screen, which is quite important for, I think, a lot of people. What are health nudges? It will tell me after a certain time of inactivity here, the watch itself, that I should get my ass up from the chair and start walking around, or walking a few steps. So that's actually mainly it here from the Gear Fit 2, a beautiful device. Let me put it on my wrist and right next to my Honor band and show you guys how it looks like when it's on a man's hand here with the size L. As you can see, I have still a little bit of space, and it fits quite nicely. It doesn't have to be too strongly on your hand, so you can sweat also a little bit under it. And then I think the heart rate activity should, or I hope it still works actually, even though I'm a little bit hairy. I know some people say that, but that's just my genetics or genes, and as you can see, it still works even then, even though it's quite loose right now on my wrist. So this was the Samsung Gear Fit 2. Thank you much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to check out more videos on my channel about more tech. Until next time, thank you much for watching and thank you much for tuning in.